Hello, everybody. I've gone live again. I'm wondering if anyone can see me here. Testing one, two, three. But and Facebook. I can hear you now. Oh, so Evangelist, let me know. Is this a different stream that everyone has to sign on differently now? And how will they know that? Okay. Oh. I'm resending these new links. I don't know, who knows? I don't think we're going to get much people now, though. Feel like it's a little bit of a waste. Whatever. Okay, guys. So we could do a game phone update telling people that the live stream is live and they can join with the new link. Okay, please do that. The link that I gave, was it good or not? Now I don't know because. Okay. Well, right. I don't know. Can I get the proper link or where can I find it? There should be an easy way to see where there would be a link. Three people are on. It's us three. No one else is here. Oh, okay. Hello? Okay, great. Uh, okay. Well, okay. So, hi, Die Rolling. Hey, how's it going? Good to see you. We had a little bit of a hiccup getting getting our sound working, so I had to restart the whole thing. And Rita's here too. She's on the feed. She's you are Twin Media. Rita is works with us with our social media stuff, and she'll be at the convention in UKGE, helping us with the booth along with my daughter Nira. So lots of cool things coming up. Yeah, yes, yeah. I think we're still learning in a way, so we got to see what's happening. Um, We got five people on, so there's someone else here. Yeah, we'll be at the UKG. Actually, looking. I wonder. No one got. I'm looking for a volunteer. If you know anyone who wants to volunteer, run some games on Friday or Saturday afternoon, like 4 hours or so, like 8 hours in total. They'll get paid for their work and get a free. Well, get the exhibitor badge too. So if you know anyone, have them reach out to me. Um, and yeah, so one of the things that's going on is that we will be at the UK Game Expo in less than a month. Tom Frank is flying in from Canada. He's going to come into Spain where we're working on some of our new stuff, and he's my co-designer on a lot of the games that we're doing. And Rita and Nira, who are work with us doing some development stuff and also social media. They're going to also be there in the booth. So we have a big booth at the UK Game Expo. I forget the number. I will check. We'll put it in here a little bit later. But we have a nice big booth of 50 square meters, and we'll be demoing games. We're going to have all the miniatures for all the different games, even the ones that aren't released yet, but are going to be released. Escape from Project Riza will be having at it. Actually, backers should be getting their stuff any day now within the next week or so, and we'll have it there for sale as well. So it'll be good. Yes, we got it. We'll talk more when you're there. Um, so yeah, that's coming up. Let's take a look here. I don't know, and I think we're going to be going. I've already talked to the guys in Essence, so we'll be doing. We'll be there at that show too. So our stand is this one here. Hi, Nira. Good to see you. That's our stand at the UKGE. Yeah, we got people from all over. Evangelos is from Greece. Tim is from the UK. Dyrone is from the UK. Yeah, it's going to be Rita and Nira are in Toronto, but Rita's from Eastern Europe. So a lot of good stuff going on. Uh, a lot of good people. And we have people all over the world. Actually, the guys who are doing developing now, the one's in Romania, one is in the Netherlands. The guys who do the layout are Argentina. Our artists are in France and in the United States. The guy who does cats, he's in the U.S. So yeah, it is very international. Lots of good stuff happening all over the place. It's a great. Oh wait, I have a bottle of wine here. Probably put that on the ground over here. It's empty already. Yeah. So there's four people on. So that'll be us. Do you have any questions? Um, is it Andrew at Die Rollin or is it Adam? Or maybe I think it's one of those two. I can't remember since we chatted last. Uh, yeah, Adam. Yes, great, good. I got it. There's like several Adams, and I never know if I know and work with or do stuff. So I'm always like, this is. It feels too easy to say Adam because it feels like no, it can't be that easy. So, anyways, yeah, very good. Close. Um, we're gonna wait, I guess, a little bit. I mean, there's 5 people on there. Does anyone want to know? Well, I'll just say who I am a little bit. Oh, it's all good. um, uh, oh, great. The game found. So we've updated a game found. So hopefully, some people are joining us. So some people are going to be joining us. I'll start with the easy stuff just before we dig into the game and kind of the concept. Basically, this is going to be a designer, kind of like you get to meet the designer, find out kind of what's happened, how things come about, how it kind of works, how you design a game in a way, and where ideas come from. Because where does your ideas come from? You know, it's like right over here. I had to look up that. No, right. So my name is Marco Bacoda. I'm designer of Stalingrad Z, and I have to say that a game, board game, especially one like Stalingrad Z, that's got so much stuff going is it's a very collaborative effort. So even as a designer, Tom Frank helped develop the game. He did a lot of the writing. Wes Johnson, plus all the artists that are involved, the map makers, the editing, it's almost like making a movie. I used to make movies. That was one of the things I used to do back in the early 2000s and whatnot. And it's a lot like making a movie because there's so many different aspects to it. The only thing it's missing really is kind of like sound, but other than that, and motion pictures. But it's a visual medium, right? As well as a mental medium. It's a mixture of, I think, both of those. So anyway, so I've been designing games since the '90s, and then I stopped designing them in '97, and kind of took a 25-year hiatus. And I designed games like Legions of Steel, which we're going to be re-releasing next year. We're going to do the It's going to use all the original. Well, we're going to resculpt everything, but we're going to use original art. We're going to use original designs and stuff. So it's going to be like teleporting it into the future from the past, or just picking it from the past and bringing it back. And we think the miniatures and stuff like that will stand. Anyway, so I designed Legions of Steel along with a couple other guys. Did Infernal Battles of the Abyss. Did a whole bunch of supplements and scenario packs and stuff like that. That's back in the '90s. Then I took a break, and then at one point, I decided to get back into designing games. It was kind of happened by accident, and someone had found my molds for my old Legions of Steel stuff. They were in the UK. They wanted to know if I could give them the other molds, and I was like, "Well, they're actually my molds, so you can't really make these because they're mine." So in the end, what happened is it inspired me to investigate the market more, and they decided not to use the mold, so that was that, and I decided to start making games again. And from that, the first game that I really made was Escape from Stalingrad Z. And Escape from Stalingrad Z, it's a process like anything that that takes a lot of effort to create, and it went through different mutations before it got to where it was. And it started as a versus historical game. But I didn't want to make it just like a combat game or a fighting game, which I enjoy those games, a war gamer and whatnot. Um, so I wanted to give it a story, and it would have been. I decided to set it in Stalingrad because I felt that's a really iconic battle during the war, and it was such a harsh, like so many people were killed, and it was a harsh environment, and it led for a lot of uh, a lot to imagine, a lot to overcome the challenges of that. And originally it was going to be a story type of combat game where you played 6 Germans who were trying to get out of Stalingrad, escape from Stalingrad. That's how it was going to be. But it wasn't just about you had 6 figures or 6 soldiers and they were just going to fight. You'd fight the things, and it was going to have a story, and people could die, and you could meet people. You could Who knows who you would recruit or you might befriend. Now the Soviets and the Germans totally hated each other, so it was very unlikely you were going to meet any friends on that side. And in the end, no one actually escaped Stalingrad. So I thought it would be a pretty cool, a kind of cool premise. It's like this untold story of how these 6, well, depending how many survivors you played the game, actually made it out. And at the end, so that's originally what I was going to do. And when I decided to make it a story, this is when I started to think about it as a solo game. And it was just when COVID was hitting, so that kind of probably influenced it a bit. And but then what happened was I started developing it that way, and it just got feedback from people, and I'm not happy with the feedback, but I recognize it being true that if you made this game that was about Germans in World War II, that it might be difficult to sell it, that distribution would not be happy, that even Kickstarter at the time, would be like, yeah, we don't want to do that, like, because you're making the heroes German, and Germans are all Nazis, which they're not, but that's what the thing would have been. So it's like, okay, maybe we can't do the story, which I really wanted to do, just because people are too sensitive about that, which I understand. I get it. And then I was like, but what if there's zombies? Right? Everybody hates zombies. So the idea then was like, why don't we make it a Escape from Stalingrad Z? Just rang kind of true. Of course, shortly thereafter, the Ukrainian war broke out, and Z became a big no-no. But I already had been marketing and created it, and I got some flack for the Z. But we just told people what a Z stands for zombies, man. Like, we're just making games, all right? So and then the concept was Escape from Stalingrad Z was that you'd have Soviets and Germans fighting a common enemy, and it kind of is. I kind of thematically wanted to make it that it wasn't, that humanity is greater than these, wars that are done for greed or land or hubris or whatever, right? That we're all like regular people. We all have, we have family. Maybe we have kids. We have sister or mother. Like, we're all regular. We just want to like enjoy our lives. That's our primary. And so whether you're Soviet or you're German wouldn't matter. And now you're fighting the zombies. So that you have to combine forces. So I that was one aspect, which I even got flack for that. But whatever. They would never be together. Well, I don't know. I'm making a world where they did. I get to choose, and I hope people like it. And they did. Um, and so that's how the concept and thematically how we got into that spot where we were creating a game that was set in Stalingrad in the winter of 1942. Uh, and yeah, and from there, I worked with Wes. He was writing this. I had him write this short story. He did a great job. He really created the ambiance and stuff like that. Um, but then what happened was, okay, so we got the game. Like, there was different ways to do it. I was first kind of looking at Zombicide as far as like the square mats, and it would come with a stack of them, and you can reverse them, and of course they'd be blown out um, parts of Stalingrad, which would have been very cool. I mean, that was a very cool. Like, it wasn't an original concept, but visually, I thought it would be very cool. Um, but what I started to look at too was like, when you're doing a business, you're looking at how you market the product, what can separate you from other guys and stuff like that. And I was talking with my friend Adam Dobbins in Australia, and he's a great designer. He designs really cool kind of quick games you can play, like High Card Dungeon and the whole one with D6s, which I don't know why the name escapes me. But anyways, he had this idea. He said where you would have a game where you would play. It was a book, and you play against the room, almost like it was like the escape dungeon type of escape room stuff, right? So I thought that was kind of cool at the time. He was talking about it, and you turn the page, and then you'd have to do certain things in the room, and then if you did them, what you had to do, and you probably could draw on it with a pencil and do stuff. And I thought that's a really cool concept. And then having that in my mind, and then working on the like, how am I going to make the rules? That's how kind of the idea for playing on a book came about. And the big test was, can I make a game that's on one page of a book interesting and tactical enough to even work, because it's like such a small area, and you got your miniatures and they each take up 1 inch, and you're basically 8 by 10, so you only have 80 inches, and there's got to be zombies on it and terrain and doors and your guys and weapon stashes and objectives and this and we didn't know. I didn't know if it was going to work. And I had the maps, the old maps from Legions of Steel, which were these ones here. I have them back here. So we had these maps from Legions of Steel. This is back from the 90s. These are from the 90s. you'll see the graphics aren't great. We had these maps, so I kind of put them together to create a grid that would be the size of the page and just try it out. And it worked. And it was kind of weird because it was right off the hop. It just worked. It worked on the thing the way I designed the zombie rules, the AI that just worked. We were like sat there. I flew to Canada, literally flew to Canada to meet with Tom and Wes to sit down and play the game. We rent a house so we can all like get away from the families and stuff and just be on our own, be like a retreat. And we we put the game down and we tried out, and it. I mean, there was development beyond that, but it basically worked on the page. So that's how it came about, and the reason, like from a point of view of how do I make a game different, was I wanted to answer the questions that a lot of gamers, or not questions, but problems that gamers have, or the things they complain about. And some of the things that they complain about, a lot of them, is that one, it takes forever to set up the game. Two, it takes up too much space. So if you can't finish the game, then what do you do? If it's on your kitchen table, you got to take it down, or you got to find a space for it. So they're too big. They take too long to set up. Even it takes some of them too long to then tear down again. And the games take too long. Not that they always take too long. It's good to have some games like that, but they want to just play a game, and I don't want it to take forever to set up, and I don't want to spend 3 hours playing a game if I don't have time, right? So, Escape from Stalingrad Z was, how can I make it in a compact space? Literally, like on your kitchen, your breakfast table, not even the kitchen table. If you have a smaller breakfast table, you fit it on that, the size of a book folded out plus a few extra square inches or whatever. And that you could play a scenario in 20, 30 minutes, and you just close the book and it worked. We managed to make it work, and it created this really great system that, we came up with a name for it, the Paths Unknown system. And it became a very unique element. And if I'd never played Jaws of the Lion, I would have thought I was the first one. But Jaws of the Lion had already done it, but I didn't know at the time. So Jaws of the Lion did something similar. It's not exactly, but something similar. I still think our game is a bit more. It is more compact, our game, and I like our game more. But Jaws of the Lion did do something similar. Since then, you might have seen a lot of games come out, that more and more games are coming out where they have the book. I have friends of me emailing, look, so and so came up with a book format, and this other one did with a book format. So I think it's becoming a popular device. And ours still remains the only one that is a choose your own adventure style narrative campaign that you play in the book. And it's the only one that has multiple versions of that. So we have Escape from Stalingrad Z, the reloaded one now. We have Escape from Project Riza, which is just now, it hit the docks already, so it should be shipping very soon. We have Gates of Nilheim, which is the Viking Nordic horror one that uses the same format. And then we have the Cats of Mont Saint Michel. And we're planning to continue making them. Back next year, there should be at least one or two more coming out. Well, one for sure of something. We'll announce it a little bit later. So I have some questions here. Yeah, thanks, Adam. It was, and it's even going to be better, Adam. By the way, Adam is asking about the cat, so it's developed further, Adam, and it's like even cooler because as you play the game and it grows, once you start getting cards and skill cards and stuff like that, it starts like really like, how am I going to handle it? Which ones am I going to use? So I think you're going to like it more and more when it comes out. And yeah, and when you're so we'll talk more, Adam, about that for sure. The idea for, like I said, I knew I wanted to do a World War II game, and when it boiled down to it, I wanted to also make it more accessible as far as thematically, and historicals are a little bit more difficult to get into, and those people who really love historic can be kind of picky. Which is fine. It's just the way they are. And so I decided to add zombies. It's like, if I add zombies, then if you love zombies, and there's lots of people who love zombies. So it became kind of partly a mechanism to how can I get more people to play my game. But then also I loved it. I thought it was super cool, and it's weird war, and it's, I'm really into historical. So this was just, and I'm into science fiction. It's basically, you're crossing paths and that's kind of what really excited me about making it. And now the universe that we've created, which is the Zombie Tango Oscar universe, which is ZTO, which stands for Zombie Theater of Operations. So anyone who's into history and stuff like that, you'll know that you had the Pacific Theater of Operation, the PTO. You have the Eastern Front, so ETO, and the Eastern Theater of Operations. So this is the Zombie Theater of Operations. So it uses lingo and stuff. And the game itself, if you play the game, some people might be on here who's played it already, but my aim was to create a historical game. Not it. Well, it's got zombies in it, so it's not really. But it uses still the historical trappings. It's a historical fiction, so it has the same names. It has the same places. It has the same uniforms. The weapons are the weapons that they would have had right then. The names for the weapons, when we're talking in Russian, well, obviously we don't use Cyrillic. We use English, but we're writing it with the same abbreviations that they had translated, or not even, and the German, like, not even translating it because it uses the same alphabet, right? So we really wanted it to feel like, make it feel more real, but have zombies. And I think that the one thing about the game that it really achieved is when you're playing it and you're like immersed in this universe, is you start to feel cold when it's cold in this scenarios, because aside from battling zombies and stuff like that, and this whole ongoing story, there's a fatigue element, so you'll get colder, you'll get hungry and stuff like that, and that becomes part of man versus the environment kind of part of the game. And you see, it turns into like concern for your little guys that you don't want to die, and they die. Like, it's not hard. It's like you can push through and you can make it, but you can also die. Very, I didn't want to make it easy, certainly, and it's an unforgiving environment. So, yeah. So conceptually, I really wanted to make it feel as real as possible, right? And I wanted to make it feel cinematic. And if anyone's seen the video for it, I think that's a great representation of how the game plays and how it feels and stuff like that. So, um, yeah. Oh, okay. Adam had to jump. Did you mention any of this? Well, look, there are so many freaking settings I would like to create, because we can do it. We can do cyberpunk. We can do hard sci-fi. We can do. So I'll just mention stuff that we're not going to do anytime soon, but we've thought about it. So regarding the Vikings, well, certainly the Cats is the most successful one, so we're going to be doing another Cat one. You'll probably see that come out next year. And I won't say much more about it right now, but there's cats in it for sure, right? And it's really cool setting, and I will definitely be talking to people about that more as this year goes on, and maybe some people at the UKGE, I might mention it. I don't know. It's hard to keep me quiet. I want to talk about it, but sometimes I feel like I should wait a little bit. Um, yes, we could do a dinosaurs game. That would be pretty cool. Um, but for the cats, there's so many ways you can go with the cats. You can do cat pirates. You can go with cats, um, samurai, ninja. Um, so for example, with Stalingrad Z, with that universe, I'll talk about that first. So yeah, and it's not exactly, absolutely. There's going to be weird shit coming for sure. So we have, and even like this buried story. There's two games that have come out yet for in the zombie, World War II universe. That's Stalingrad Z and Project Riza. We have four more that we're working on. So the next one I can tell you right away is going to be set in North Africa. It's called Africa Corps 41. So it's like a prequel to the first two games. And of course, it happens in Northern Africa, the desert. You got Africa Corps Germans there. You have Bedouins. You have the SAS from the British. You might have a downed Luftwaffe pilot. Actually, I can tell you for sure there'll be a downed Luftwaffe pilot. So we get to make one of those miniatures. Yeah, Africa. Yeah, it's going to be, but Africa with a K, and then you put the words together. And that one is going to be set. It's an Indiana Jonesy type of thing because it's North Africa. It's going to be set in a tomb. It'll have a Tomb Raider vibe to it, but still, like, it'll have the trappings that you have in those because it's around the same time too. And that's the next one. And we've got a couple of concepts on how to create. There's going to be kind of a luck factor, but not luck, more of a fate factor, involved because of the, there's going to be this mystery. Like it's not going to be outwardly like there's, uh, supernatural stuff, but we always like touching on edges of things. So there might be something like, why is that happening? Is there a rational explanation or is there not? And like, I don't know if I'm going to tell you whether there is or not. You're going to have to, you know, you're going to have to finish the game to find out, right? And maybe even then know. But we leave seeds around, like from this Project Riza, which is the most recent release. That game has seeds that are going to play into the next game, and we're doing that. So, or I guess Easter eggs is what they call them. So with Africa Corps, that's going to be set, and we'll have a little bit different stuff. We're going to kind of like have that. You got to jump over a chasm. You got to climb a big, huge statue without falling off of it. So we'll have some mechanisms for doing that kind of neat stuff. And it might all end. It could potentially end. I don't know. I won't say it on it. It could end. There's some cool stuff there. Anyways, after that one, which is the next one we're going to do in the series, which won't be. Well, we got to get this one out and let it. After this, then we have three more. The next two will be set in the Pacific. One will be set starting on one of the big bombers. I forgot the number, but it's a bomber that came in right at the end of the war, right at and it's an American bomber, and that one is going down, and that whole one, which we don't have a title for yet, will start with you in the pilot seat, basically, or at least in the front cabin. You have to fight your way back. The plane's going down, so everyone's gonna die, right? Of course, your crew's turned into zombies already, so you're gonna fight. The first few scenarios is you fighting your way back, so you can grab a parachute, so you can jump out. Then the bomber crashes into an island, and you fall into the water, and you swim to shore, and then, well, shit happens. So that's the fourth one in this series, and then the fifth one, and I might invert them, will be it's a cool. The one after that is, because we're set in the Pacific for this one, so it's kind of is we're going to set it on a listless Japanese aircraft carrier that's basically just floating in the water, and the Americans come upon it, or maybe we'll make it the Australians, but no, the Americans are the American Marines, and it's basically this just floating thing that's just floating through the water. They're like, "What the hell is that doing there?" And they send the Marines in to kind of like figure it out. It's going to have totally an aliens kind of trapping, right? So they got to go into this like apparently uh, abandoned thing, and then when they get in there, of course, a lot of shit's going down. They'll rescue people, so you're going to have maybe an American reporter that was captured who was off a thing. You'll have a Japanese officer. You'll have, there'll be a bunch of different things happening. So I don't think anyone's made a game with zombies on an aircraft carrier for World War II. So that could be the first one. It'll be a lot of fun. And then the last one, and then who knows if we'll do more, but kind of the last of this series is Return to Stalingrad Z. And that's going to be like, it's going to be designed in a way that you can use any of the characters that preceded it in the final one, right? And it's basically enough information has been gathered, but they need to send a team in and find out where this really happened. And that's where we'll reveal where the zombies all came from and why they're there and what's going on. And that's, a few years away, but we already know. And we're going to build up to it. And so there's lots of more story. You can think of them like movies and sequels and stuff like that, right? The Riza is a sequel to Stalingrad Z, and Africa Corps is a prequel. And then we go into like another part of the world where things are happening. And so there's a lot of cool stuff that's going to happen with this universe. I'm glad a lot of people love it. And you get a lot of, a lot of good fan mail and stuff like that. So that's kind of a lot of information about this kind of what we're doing with this game. And then of course if you dig Vikings and that, we're gonna keep working on Viking games. If you dig cats, we're gonna do more cat games. Some ideas for Viking ones. Well, we haven't decided. So it's the Viking series will be more of an historical series, so it might be specifically Vikings, but it could technically be. I just like the whole concept of using historical settings. So it could be, for example, the Spanish and the Aztecs, right? So it could be that period when Cortez is there, and we can just create this, using the mythology of the Aztecs and their really vicious gods, and kind of the Christianity. Well, it depends on mythology or beliefs or whatever, spiritual thing. It would create a really interesting dynamic, a really interesting game where you're in the jungles of Mexico, and you basically have to team up with the Aztecs to survive. Otherwise, so that would be a very interesting paths unknown. The miniatures would be awesome. You can imagine the Aztec gods, how awesome those miniatures would be. The stuff you'd be fighting, you'd have spears and you'd have swords, but you'd also have muskets and you'd have horses maybe and stuff like that. So there's a lot of interesting dynamic that we can do in the historical vein that like the Vikings are part of. And that would be like a historical paths unknown stuff. So you have Vikings. You could do actually fighting zombies with spears is easier sometimes because you got a little bit of reach. So, anyways, when you play the games, the spears are pretty good. Yeah. Uh, yeah, not the Spanish Inquisition. We wouldn't be doing that one, but I don't think. Well, you never know. Probably not. Okay. Anyways, um, and then of course you could have Vikings, but you said it in North America, which I think would be super interesting. It would be like when the Vikings first kind of landed in North America. Like obviously we were taking some liberties, but then with the the natives that were there, the indigenous group, they would have to team together to fight again some sort of using the mythology of both the Vikings and then the indigenous group, which we'd have to research more. I've done some research, but it would be super cool because you'd have these two different yet dynamic forces involved, and again, it's the miniatures, the stories, the concept, all that would be, the mixing of those two mythologies together and what would happen. I just think would be awesome. Like the storytelling there is like off the charts. I think so. There's some stuff that is kind of in the works of what's going on. I guess I want to let you guys know. I didn't think of it this way, but that this is a living universe. It's not just one game. I mean, it can be if that's you just want to play one game and you're happy with that or whatever. But it's a game that's supported. That more stuff is coming out. That there's more love being poured into it. That we're writing all the time new stuff. That we're releasing stuff all the time. I mean, this year we uh, Gates of Nilheim will be releasing in a few months. So those have been delayed, but Catch will definitely release by the end of the year, and so will the Reloaded will release by the end of the year. So we're looking at 4 games kind of shipping this year. So there's a lot of stuff coming out, and then we have plans for next year and the following year, and of course, and all the way down the line. So yeah. Um, well, I was just talking about a lot of stuff. Does anyone have any questions? I can see there's 18 people viewing. Is there any question about the campaign? The campaign's doing pretty well. It'd be good to hit 1,000, but even if not, it's doing pretty well. I know that after the campaign, a lot of people come on as well, so that's really great. Plus, we've got more support from the distributors on this release, which means it's going to be brought to a lot more people, and the game is going to grow not just by the campaign itself, but by its distribution. That over the last 2 or 3 years, I've been able to convince people to carry my games, which is a big thing. It's a tough thing to do, and so we see a lot of stuff coming like that. Yeah, so in the game, like Evangelist mentioned there in the text, that over 10 have been unlocked, and maybe we'll get another one unlocked before the end, which is totally cool. Um, and some of my favorite stretch goal was Max, your canine friend. So that's an actual miniature that's going to go in the deluxe version of the game, and so you'll get the Max miniature. Which do I don't I might have had one here, but it's probably at my office, my other office. This is my home office. So, but yeah, we got that miniature done already. So that was coming from Project Reese. I already kind of created it, but we're going to bundle it into this one as well. Um, and there'll be rules for it and how to use Macs. You can kind of carry extra equipment, and you can get them to do things like small things. Go like instead of you have the search, because normally it's a search, you can send them to search stuff and that sort of thing. And he's a little bit faster, and he doesn't have to. I think one of his rules is he doesn't have to worry about the zone of control of the zombies. He just kind of boots around. You know how hard it is to catch a dog who doesn't want to get caught, right? So yeah, that's Max. Um, have your canine friend with you. So everyone loves. Well, not everyone loves dogs, but a lot of people do. I think they're great, dogs and cats. Um, so yeah, it's going on for another, well, just over 24 hours. You know, we've seen a nice rise in the last little bit. You usually see that at the end, so it's really good. Um, some of the stuff that you might have asked or might have thought about, if you're getting the game, of course, you can buy it with or without miniatures. Um, but if you do get it with miniatures, these ones are being cast with 100% PVC, so they're going to have even more detail than our previous releases, just because it wasn't an option before, but now it is. So I'm going to do it as good as I can, right? Also, um, yeah, people love Mac. Um, some also people who are current backers or have asked what the differences are. So I'll if you're a new backer, you're going to be getting all the same stories. There's not any less stories in the basic box set. You get the full breadth. You get all the rules and everything like that. The difference is that you're going to get the most updated rules because after 2 years we fixed some errors and errata and worked on a few things that ended up tending to be better. Mostly that came out of working on Project Riza. So we worked Project Riza, but then we just came up with a little bit better tweaking of the rules because there was lots to do there, right? So you'll be getting those. It's the most up to date version in the box set. And you'll have standees and markers and that sort of thing. And you'll have your character sheet, which you can write with a dry erase pencil or pen. So you can like write all your things on it when you get new stuff and if your supplies and stuff, you can keep track of it pretty easily, right? While the old one had an actual a double layered dashboard where you could put stuff into. Now the double layered dashboard still exists in the accessory pack. The reason why is I could reduce the price of the basic box set from $59.90, $60 to $50, right? And that was a better price point. Well, for some players, for some people who want to buy the game, but really for distribution and retail, they don't like anything over $49.95. I mean, it's harder to get the product. So I made it to work so that the game itself would still have everything you needed to play, of course, but also was functional in a way that it could be marketed to, get more players. Because the more people that play it, the more we can do and the more cool stuff we can create, right? In the universe and for other cool stuff. So that's the basic difference, is that you just get a few less things, right? But in the to match it in the pledges, which is the lock and load pledge, you get the accessory pack and the base game for the same price it would have been in the first Kickstarter, which is $59.95. So I don't want to penalize new people coming on board, like not that it's penalizing them, but I wanted to make it easier for them to kind of get the same deal that they got in the earlier pack if they wanted to. After it ends, of course, and after the pledge manager closes, that won't be available anymore. And if you just buy it in the store, then you'll buy them separately, and they'll cost whatever. It'll still be $50 for the game, and the accessory pack's $25. So that's how it would go if you wanted to get that stuff. And then the deluxe set amps that up by including, all of the miniatures and stuff like that, which I have a copy here. So this is the deluxe set. It's heavy. It's it has it's an ammo crate. And here you see. Then this is a prototype, so they're a little bit off, but they're going to be perfect when it's done. You've got your box set here, and then you've got, what do you got? Your miniatures, and then your accessory set. So these all come out. Here we go. So you can take them out, and inside the box, this box, kind of like a little bit unboxing. I did this before, but I can show it again. So this is a sleeve that comes off, and then you open the box up, and then there's foam on it, and underneath the foam, you have the minis, and they all fit in nicely. Oh, well, I must have moved these around. I must have been playing around. Oh, I put the wrong thing on. Yeah. So this has a bunch of minis. It even has an extra hole. You can put extra markers and stuff like that into it. Help store the stuff if you want. And yeah, the bottom. So what happens is because we have a sleeve, this goes and it kind of pushes down, holding this stuff in place. And so the box doesn't open. The sleeve will prevent it from opening, so you can store it or move it around. And this is actually good. And now it won't pop open. These are the evolved miniatures, so it's got like that's what it got. And so you can see that then it would fit right back in here. I put it in backwards this way here. But it also has an accessory pack. This is the accessory pack here. That's the one I was talking about. It's in the deluxe set, of course, as well, and it's the one that would come with the box set. So the lock and load set comes with the box set and the accessory pack, and that's $59.95. $59.95. That's these two guys. So let's take a look. I'll just show you what comes in the accessory set for those interested. That's this one here. Also comes in a cool box. I mean, I like the box. I think it's cool. Yeah, so in here you're going to get your dashboards that are multifunctional. They're double layered dashboards that are multifunctional. I'll let you know what that means. It comes with 4 status dice. That makes it much easier on the board. You don't have as many counters you have to deal with. Comes with all the little pegs and stuff that you're going to need for the dashboards. It comes with all the weapons inserts that you're going to also need for the dashboards, and I'll show you that in a sec. And then it comes with the inserts for the different characters, and there's a whole bunch of them. There's this, as you can see here. So how that kind of works, just to show you, is that you would take Warder. Let's say you wanted to play Warder, and you have 4 of these dashboards because you can have up to 4 people playing. Wait, is that upside down? No, these are upside down. No, they're now upside down. One of them was. So you get 4 of them, so you can play with 4 characters, right? And you'll take the character you want to play, Warder, and you'll put him in the center. So now you know it's Warder. Then you'll punch out. I don't know if I got the right one. His skills. I definitely did this upside down. There we go. You put Warder in, right? And then you take your skills. You can put them in here. So that's his skills. And then as you attain the skills, you'll put a you'll put your little peg in there. And then the weapons, if you're carrying the weapon, you'll have it up here. And if you're actually carrying it in your hand, right? Or if it's in your gear, you'll put it on this side. It'll go in here. So that's the basic concept of how that works. And it works real well. So we're happy with that. And it all goes back and a ton of those. There we go. So that's that. There we go. I don't know if anyone wants to see. This is the basic box set. It's gonna have a linen finish, which makes it really feel nice. And among other things that it comes with is you have your team control sheet. Like this is for a whole campaign. So if you play the campaign twice, there's 2 of them. But you can also photocopy this and download it as a PDF. And you're gonna get. Well, I must have. So we have these here. These are your character cards. And as you can see, they're going to be laminated and you can write on them. I think I'm going to make them actually a little bit bigger, like maybe another inch or so bigger, like that. So why not? It's not going to cost much more. So I think I'll do that just so it's easier. But I don't want to make them too big because then they chew up too much table space, right? They come with standees. That's Becker. You come with your this is a folder, but inside the folder, as what many of you will know, it's actually a. If you take this away, it's a player aid, which is awesome, and it sits. I like literally sit it on the table when I'm playing. It's all stats for the different weapons and stuff like that. I've stored in here the markers, but you can store in your rule book and other things like that. Of course, it comes with the rule book and the scenario book. This again is a prototype. Goes like that. So you've got your the new rule book, and the thing that's so there's a few new rules that are in it. Um, yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's a dry erase control sheet. That's correct. That's what Cool Blue is asked about that, and the Sundrop options. Wicked Zen. So that's some people will take the miniatures. Like to have their miniatures. They take them and they basically do a zenithal kind of procedure where they spray them and they paint them in a way so that you've got all the cracks are like showing, and then it's lighter on one side and darker on the other. So it's just a way to make the miniatures look sexier and for the detail to pop. And some people like that. They're not going to paint their miniatures. They just like to get them like that. And we're thinking about doing them in two colors. Originally, they were just going to be in that tan kind of color that we've displayed on the screen. Like if you look in the oh no, gray. I'm sorry, it was going to be gray. But maybe we'll do red and gray. Red for the zombies and gray for the humans, right? So we'll see how that ends up. But that's basically what that is. If you take a look at the image in the thing in the campaign, it'll kind of give you an idea what it looks like. But okay, so the talking again, what comes into the box set. So the rule book is mostly the same, but updated. There's a few changes that we've had. So one thing is we've added in a rule to mitigate luck, which is called the scratch rule, and that allows you, if you roll a one, to get a scratch token, and then you can expend the scratch token later in case you get another one, right? And so that it mitigate, you get to do re-rolls and stuff like that. And it has a few other things as well. Just kind of streamline the grenade rules. We have all these rules online too, like the updated ones for people. I'll share that again. But you can find it. Well, anyways, we have it up there. We'll make sure it's available. And then we kind of streamlined a bit the spread fire, and then how zombies move. Just is before we had zombies moved in a grid pattern, like you would go this one moves and this one and this one, and instead I changed it because I just felt it was more real. Where you move the one that's closest first, and then you move the one that's next closest. And if it's a tie, you just choose, and that actually helps the zombies move more. Otherwise, they get jammed up a little bit. Those are the changes to the rules. They're really not a lot. The rules work really well. In other words, but the other thing we did with this book is that when you're playing it, first of all, we did a full 2 pages of what you get. So I didn't do that in the first book, and I should have. It just kind of had a list, but this is way more like you have a way better idea what things are called. What I should have done it that. So you get that, and then what we've done is we've set this up so that you can play. It tells you how to set up the scenario, and then you play. You read a certain amount of rules and play the first scenario. Then you read some more rules, play the second one, and then you read some more rules and you play the third scenario. So basically, you can jump in and start playing a lot faster. You don't have to read all the rules. You can just read like 4 or 5 pages, know what that part is, and then play that scenario which uses those rules, and then it introduces. So it's a much more digestible set of rules for people to learn how to play. And that was a big. Well, look, it's a tactical combat game that's got a lot of great detail, and so it's a bit more to read to get started. It's not a light game, right? But by doing it the way we did it in the new rule book, you really get to learn it at a much easier level. Yeah, I agree, Brent. The weird thing is I just showed the gray one, so now and people have bought it, and I'm like, well, if I do the 2 ways, are they going to get upset that they're expecting gray and then they get a gray and they get a red? I don't know. I guess I'll ask. I guess most people won't care. I mean, I would like it too. So I'll just put it out there that we're going to do it. That's the way to do it, actually. Say, hey, listen, we're going to do the zombies one way and the humans another way, and then people can just. And if you want to cancel, you can. Like, if someone says, "Oh, I don't want that at all," then they can just cancel that out of their pledge, or maybe they'll cancel the whole pledge. Some people get weird that way. But yeah. Okay, see you, Adam. Tom, yeah, everybody is interested in the in the Rommel Mini. He's really cool. Yeah, so the Rommel Mini, if you back the pledge that has a shipping in it, like the basic game or any of the expansions or anything like that, then you'll also get shipped Rommel. We're gonna make him the one that we painted up, which is put away right now. He we're gonna make him a little bit taller, so he's gonna be cool, and we'll also have the rules for him on online. You can download, or well, you don't even need download. The rules will be pretty straightforward. It works like the other ones, so it's all cool. Um, so Tom's asking about that, and we'll also have the FPL available. So uh, uh, you'll get one, and if you back the digital version of the game, like just the PNP, then you'll get the STL. And if you backed anything else, like that has shipping, you'll get the real one plus the STL. So you can use the one you get, of course. So you can reprint it bigger. You can do whatever you want. It's free for you guys. So however you want to kind of make it, it'll be totally cool. Oh, Wicked Zen! I played Dust Tactics, and each faction has their own color, so you don't have to paint. Yeah, unfortunately, I can't play it. So yeah. Solo's great, right? I didn't know how great solo was until I could play solo. And Dust is a cool game. I've never played it myself, but it's the same. It's Dust 47, right? By Paolo Parente. I think it's the same one. If it's and anyways, Paolo's going to be working on artwork on. Well, he did artwork for Project Riza. He did some artwork for that, so we worked together already. And he's going to be working on future stuff. In fact, we talked to him. We set up to start working on a new project in the next month or so. So yeah, it'll be really cool. And it's great working with him. His stuff's amazing. Yeah. So yeah, yeah, yeah. It was cool. Come, with uh, because now it's so easy to play solo, man. Like I actually won't buy a game that doesn't have a solo way. I just won't because I don't know if I'm going to play it with a buddy or not, or when we'll have time to do it. But I know for sure if I buy it solo that I'll eventually play it. So that, yeah. And the last thing that comes in the box uh, is the last, but and the greatest is all the scenarios, just like you had in the other book, and it's like one after the other. In fact, if you played this game, there's so much stuff here. Like it just feels like it's just a book. There's so many maps that if you laid it out, it would be like huge. It would like take up this huge space of game area. So it's really a huge game, like a really huge game. It wouldn't fit on your table. That's how big this game is. But we made it in a manageable, digestible, easy way by putting it in the book, and it just worked out great. And like I know I'm kind of tooting my own horn, but other people do this too. It works out great for them too. It's just a great way to do it. I feel it's not the only way to do it. And I got lots of games, of course. Most games don't do it. So, but I'm so happy with the way it turned out that way. And of course, that's what you're getting here. And there's thousands of hours of work in this, thousands and thousands, like a lot. It took a long time to make it. So you get so much good stuff packed into this little sucker here. And I don't want to put it back properly. I feel bad usually. I feel rushed, and then oh yeah, oh no, I didn't. I forgot. We also got markers, so we'll just show you the markers that come in. So you've got your more weapon markers. Wait, there it is. Your standees and stuff like that. Some fell out already. I punched them out. You got your German markers, your citizens or what your civilians and whatnot, and then you have your zombie markers, and they have little question marks. So anyone who doesn't know how this works, when you place your zombies down, they're question mark up, so you don't even so it's hidden movement effectively, and until they get into line of sight, or line of fire, you won't know what you're up against. And there's like a lot of different things, each with their own kind of abilities of moving, and that will change your tactics when they're revealed. So, there's just general tactics with the best kind of ways to do stuff, but that'll always be changing because you don't know exactly what foe you're gonna come up against, and exactly at the same time. It also makes for great replayability, like really good. Um, so with the folder, we're just gonna put it back together. I think the folder, you take thing, you put in, so that in the folder you can, which has again your thing, and this is a prototype, you can put that there, and then I put, ta-da, put this in here, and then you fold it, and then you got your folder there, and it goes straight in the box. And there you go. Oh, it also comes with dice. Sorry, it does have dice, but I took them out to play with another game of mine. Oh, well, anyway. So you'll have dice and stuff. And yeah, that's a little bit about that. Oh, I accidentally hit something when I was chatting here. Let me take that away. Yeah. Yeah, I've never played it. That's cool. Yeah. And they had great miniatures, the dust ones. Just Wicked Zed is talking about those. And yeah, it's a shame that they unfortunately didn't work out for them. I think they still might have some miniatures that have come out, or you can still get them. We do. Oh, Wicked. We do have the option to play the zombies, not solo though. So there's a 3-player where one person plays the zombie master. So Stalingrad is a solo game. You can play co-op. It sounds so. Anything that's solo, you can kind of play co-op. There's more than one character. You just share. I have one character. You have one character. Yeah, it's pretty easy. But there is a versus mode where one person plays the zombie master and the other person or two people, play the humans. And yeah, it becomes much harder for the humans because, of course, there's no AI involved as much. There's certain parameters that the zombie master has to follow, but he gets a certain amount of control over what things happen, and you actually can play the zombies in this game. I never really talk about it much. I haven't had a lot of feedback on. I mean, we know it works. We played it, but there hasn't been a lot of people that have given me feedback on the versus mode. So I would love any feedback that someone might have uh, regarding the versus mode of Stalingrad Z. So yeah. Um. Yes. Cool. Cool. Wicked Zen. Um. I don't know. Is there anything else you guys want to know about? I mean, let's see. The campaign is going for another 24 hours. That all, if you're, there will be. I'm going to keep the pledge manager open for a few months, at least until September or October. So if you haven't pledged, yes, you can. If you want to change what you ordered, you can. If you want to add something, you can. Um, it's we're not closing it fast, so it'll be time for you to kind of digest what's there. You can add stuff. Anybody who wants to get into it, uh, get in, like want to get a copy, not of that game, but the sequel of the game is Project Reach. Now, Escape from Project Reach is the sequel to Escape from Stalingrad Z. It's out right now. We're shipping in the next week or so. But it's its own game. It's not an expansion where you need the other game. It's its own game. It's like a movie. Like you can watch one movie, you can watch another movie, right? It's like you watch Star Wars Episode 4, and then like 3 decades later, you watched Episode 3. Unfortunately, but whatever, you watch that. So it's like you don't have to do them in a specific order. I mean, there's certain amount of historically what happens, but there's different characters now, and there's hints and allusions to other characters as well. So yeah. So that's for sale, or it's going up for sale very soon. You can order it on the if you order it uh, in the campaign right now, it's going to ship in advance of Stalingrad Z, so that you don't have to wait for Stalingrad Z to get, which is going to ship in December. Yours will ship in the next 3 or 4 weeks or something like that. Right, so you'll get an advance. You can start playing that one there. Yeah, that's correct. The Evangelist is correct. December 2025. We're feel pretty confident we'll be on track with that. The rules are already written. We have to maybe tweak it, go through it once more, or whatever. I mean, just get someone to proof it again. So they're pretty much written, and then we're just working on the expansion stuff right now, and that's they're all written as well. So we're just editing that and double checking it. So we don't see a big stumbling block to get it out for December. I mean, they're going to be translated. So anyone who's not doesn't aware, it's going to be translated to Polish, into Mandarin, and into Spanish. So Eclipse is doing it in Spanish. Czechska, I'm probably not pronouncing that right, is doing it in Poland, and it's going to be Broadway in China. If there's any people from China listening, and you can buy in Chinese, well, not Chinese, Mandarin. That's a big thing, right? It's not actually Chinese language. They have a lot of different languages. Mandarin's I guess, the standard one. And then there's Cantonese, which is another one, of course. Um, Wicked, you asked what the difference is between Escape from Stalingrad Z and Project Riza. Okay. Um, that would be, you know what? Okay, so they use the same mechanics overall. It's just a different story. So Stalingrad Z is set in Stalingrad 1942, the winter of 1942. Escape from Project Riza is 6 months later, and it's in the underground Nazi bases in the Owl Mountains in southern Poland. And Project Riza is actually a real German thing that the Nazis did during World War II, called Project Riza. And it was really underground base in the Owl Mountains. It's actually based on this real stuff. And of course, it's more of a dynamic game. It's more running and gunning, and you're not worrying about freezing to death or starving. You're certainly worried about dying, though. Definitely worried about dying. But so it's kind of like it's more of a threat track thing where the zombies are mounting and mounting, and you have to reduce the threat to be able to keep going on in the scenario. But it's got its own story. It's like a sequel to a movie. It's got its own characters. It's got its own things. You can use some of your old characters if you want to bring them over. But yeah, it's a nice big package, and yeah, that's absolutely. It's if you can play one, you'll play the other, but it just has more stuff. It also introduces new rules for NPCs. So basically, if you were fighting another like human being, like creating an AI for zombies is one thing, because they're kind of mindless, and but if you're fighting a human opponent, the AI for that's much more complicated, because of course they're not just going to walk out into the open to get shot, right? So you got to anticipate. You got to write it so it's easy to play, but also relative realistic, right? Otherwise it'll feel stupid when you're playing it. So we did that. That's it. There was a lot of work that went into that. So that's in that as well. Um, Nira just mentioned that there's, to make some scenarios specifically 2 versus 1 or 1 versus 1. So we have an expansion called Arena Battles 1. Actually, the artwork on the cover of that is Paulo Parendes from Dust 47. And in that one, you build your own team, and I would build my own team, and then there are maps that come with that, and you would play versus, and it would have its own story, and you'd have uses all the same rules, same rules. So it's an expansion, so you need the core rules of either Stalingrad Z or Project Riza, right? But yeah, that's filled with all kinds of stuff, how you can play versus, and I kind of designed it specifically so people can start playing in stores. They can play with their friends, more of a versus element. Um, and also it has conversions for playing tabletop. So it comes with maps, but you can also play with inches and with terrain on tabletop. So it gives you conversion rules to do that, which is how I like playing it. And if you're going to the UKGE, we're going to be running games of arena battles, which is basically, it's in the Zombie Tango Oscar universe. We're going to be running those battles right in our booth. So yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. And I'm excited to share everyone that game, because I'll talk about that for a second. So that expansion, which I don't have here, I don't think. should have had it here. Anyways, that expansion is kind of like it's a skirmish warfare, and you kind of like it's written down. You write down you have a control sheet. We have all your people, and you basically do battles against your friends. Like they have their team, you have your team. You have different weapons. There's the zombies when you kill them drop stuff. You could get ammo. You could get other weapons and stuff. There's stashes to raid. There's experience that you guys will get. There's money to be won in competitions. Use that money to build your base and get new stuff and recruit more people. And you can do all this kind of interesting, cool kind of stuff that's really like expands upon the universe in that. Tom, which yeah, all of the games are available soon. Well, yes, so Project Riza is available. You can order it right in the campaign, and it'll ship within a month because it's all landing soon. And I just need to make sure all the orders are coordinated from this campaign, and then we'll be shipping them out. So let's say July 1st or somewhere in there. Yeah. But arena battles, one way we play it, and it's really fun. You put down your map or you make your 3D board, and this is great when you have a bunch of people that want to play. So let's say you have 5 or 6 of your buddies, and you're like, let's just play something fun and kill you. And that's this because everybody starts with one figure with a knife, and that's it. And you basically, so it's you against that's the other thing, it's you against your friends against the zombies. So there's the zombies, but you're not co-oping it. You basically want to beat your guys and not get killed by the zombies. So it's got everything is happening there. And so one way we play it is and that's how we'll be playing at the UKGE. Everybody gets one, and basically, if you kill a zombie, he's going to drop an ammo, right? And then there's these different stashes all over the board that you want to get to. Meanwhile, your other buddy is trying to get there too. And you get a weapon, get a pistol, get a rifle. You never, and then so you start with a knife, but you're trying to find more stuff. And the obviously, and then the zombies keep coming; they never stop really. And the objective is to be the last one standing. So it's kind of like a battle royale situation, but it's really fun. And the smaller you make the map, the more killy it is. But we work at a good 3 foot by 3 foot map. It's not a bad way to start, but if you want to make it like really more intense, just make it on a 2 foot map, right? Um, and that's just a fun way to play it. It doesn't take that long to play. You can set it up, tear it down, and it's just fun. Yeah. So that's one way to play. It's an easy way to play just with one character, or you can like I said, build your crew. You could it's even designed to have tournament pick play. So you guys could play like, hey, we're gonna do 10 scenarios or 15 missions or whatever it is, and you'll get ranked. And there's a system for how that works. So yeah. Yeah, Project Reset. If you can check it out, its page is still open on GameFound, so you can find out more about that. But don't worry about it, Wicked Zen. Like if you decide to wait and figure out like both games are going to be available, so you don't have to feel rushed that you got to be like you got to make a decision before this closes. I mean, I'm always happy to have a higher number, for the campaign to end. But really, you could take your time. It'll be totally cool. They're both great games. You'll love them both. You'll if you love one, you'll love the other one for sure. Yeah, they're both great. They both have a different feel, but they're both like really steeped in theme and story and stuff like that. So yeah, so um, there's a lot of stuff going on there. Is there any final kind of questions that anyone might have that I can answer for them? I don't think there's much else I can talk about that I can come off the top of my head. Got you guys pretty full kind of description of what's going on and what's going to be coming. I'll be doing more of these things too. So, for the future, you can think of other questions you might have. You can also post on the campaign and ask questions there. If you think of something later, you can post questions here. If you think of them later, and we'll definitely answer them and stuff like that. Um, so I'm going to wrap it up, but not right away. Any last questions? I'll give you guys a couple minutes to think or to throw something at me. I think I'm losing my voice. I don't know, some vitamin C or something. What can I show you while you guys are thinking? I packed away most of my miniatures. I don't even know what's in here. By the way, this is the Legions of Steel T-shirt. This is from the '92, I think. '92. So it's retro. Okay, I'm opening this because I put some miniatures in here that are painted, but I can't remember what they are. I don't know for which game it is because we have like all the different games. Okay, so turns out it's for the cats on Mont Saint Michel. I know this is not Stalingrad Z related. Yeah, very 80s heavy metal. Like that. So when we're going to be redoing Legion this, and it's going to totally have a retro vibe, just like this, like that. We're going to stick with it. Anyways, this is like one of the figures from the cats. That's like the. Is that going to zoom in there? That's the rat, the cardinal. It's pretty cool. And he's on it. He's standing on the head. Very cool. It's set in Mont Saint Michel, which is a monastery. Oh, and he already got busted because I put him in a small thing. So, and then this is another miniature from. It's one of the rats. It's pretty cool. Wait, there we go. It's hard to see them. I guess you can't get high resolution in this thing. But anyway, I wanted to see what I found. Oh, okie smoky. All right. Well, listen. I want to thank you all for joining me here today and listening to me talk about stuff the whole time. And thank you for all the questions as well. I really appreciate it. Like, it makes it easier for me. Like, I feel like I'm contributing more. Someone asks me questions, right? Yeah. Well, you can. Yeah. It's just yes. It's a pretty big one. It's pretty massive. Yeah. I don't. It's a good deal, but yeah, it's up there. Um, I totally get it. They have a I don't know, they have a way to I keep forgetting game found. Someone else can say it's like you can pay over a period of time, like over 5 months or something like that. But I don't want to like push that on anyone really. If it works for you and if you can do that with that, that's great. Or just get one and absolutely, and then we're always going to have them. Like I plan to keep making games for a long time, so if you don't get one today and you really love it, you can get the next one, in the future. Yeah, yeah. Stretch pay. It's a stretch pay feature. That's right. So you can check that out, see if that works for you. And again, we'll be open, beyond tomorrow's date, so people can keep ordering and stuff like that. Thank you. All right, guys. I'm going to. I guess I'll wrap it up. My voice is going. And if you're going to UKGE, definitely come by our booth. Our booth number is, let's see, I'll tell you what the booth number is. I'll post it here again. And I'm also going to do, there, you got it. Oh, okay. I won't have to do it now. So there's the booth number. But listen, anyone here who wants to, join our newsletter, I only email normally once a month, except if there's a release. So you're not going to get bombarded, but you can get you can join our newsletter here on our website, and you'll get kind of one email a month, but it'll also announce the shows that we're doing, the booth, and sort of other kind of promotions and stuff like that, of course, and our stuff like that. Anyways, you can check it out there if you want to join our newsletter, or you can join our Facebook group as well. So that's really good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending. Thank you for listening to me. Thanks for the questions, and thank you for all the support. And it's awesome. Love you guys. Ciao for now. End stream.